geekversus.com.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Game Chat. I am your host, Chris, as always joined by my co-host, Sean.
What's going on, people?
And that's it, because
silence fills the room.
Unfortunately, our dear little boy ate something.
He's under the weather.
Yeah, he ate something that did not sit right, and he let us know it was not going well. We're going to be talking about the fractured butthole a little bit later, and I think
which is
that's
fitting.
Like, that is spelled Butwhole. I think John just has a fractured butthole right now.
Poor little man has a fever. He's just not feeling well. He's battling, though.
He is battling strong, and he should be back next week. Otherwise, we'll just talk about Mario without him, and I'm sure he'll be okay with that.
We're definitely going to talk about Mario with or without John next week.
Yeah, I don't care if he's here or not for that. I'm talking about Mario. Mainly because I got to, because then...
That's the last hurrah for a minute.
Yeah.
That's it.
For a little while, and then I'm going to go get me an Xbox One X.
That's going to be glorious. And
Scorpio.
Project First Edition. And I'm even on that bandwagon a little bit. I started today with you at work, and you're like, here we go.
Yeah,
level 7.
Here we go. Here comes the level 7. And I think I want one too.
I want to get one of those new ones. That's really funny.
It'll be fun. Roll Tide.
Yeah, indeed. Roll Tide.
Middle finger to Tennessee.
I had a gig this weekend with some people who are Georgia fans, of course. And I started looking into that, and I'm like, wait a minute. Georgia's off this week.
Yeah.
This makes complete sense now. So I was having to just keep up with the ESPN app. Luckily, the game kicked off at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central. So I got to hear and kind of know that we were doing good. Yes, I said we to the people.
Yeah.
But they were doing good against Tennessee, and they continued it. After the game, I read the review, and I heard that the first quarter was kind of slow and murky.
Yeah. So I watched the game at my sister's wedding on my phone while I was waiting for her to come down the aisle. And then she had a very, very short, luckily for me, ceremony. And then afterwards, the phone came right back out. I was like, you want me here today? You should know better. It's Saturday.
If you people do not know about Jermaine Funnyman Johnson.
Free advertisement.
He's all over the place. He's hilarious.
He can send us a check still.
Yeah, he can. Yeah. But it's always fun to watch his catch-up videos or post-game videos.
Yeah, recap for the week.
And there were so many blowouts this week, and then there were like a couple of close ones, and then Bama, they did what they did against Tennessee. But it's going to get interesting. We were talking about the college football landscape today, and we're talking about Notre Dame.
You know the interesting part of that wedding?
What?
She married a Penn State graduate. And his kids were there, and they were just like, yeah, we really want to play Bama.
No, you don't.
And I was just biting my tongue. And then finally someone went like, Chris, you like college football. Who do you root for again? I was like, University of Alabama. Roadhead. You want us? Okay.
That's so awesome.
Why'd I go Adam Sandler?
I don't know, but I like it. I think you should do it more.
I like it when it's just me and you.
We just go back and forth with just funness.
It's basically what we just do on
Skype and things like that. Yeah,
just not while we're working, of course.
Of course, never. Who would do that?
Nope,
not us.
Hey, Rick.
That's so funny.
But yeah, that was really about it. All I had this week that I can talk about at this point.
Yeah.
That's some other things.
You're definitely caught up in something.
Yeah.
I was busy. I was busy Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Yesterday, I think I slept till noon. Which, think about this: our age. When do we sleep till noon? Really? You can't because of Penny.
Yeah, not anymore. And I used to until I got Penny.
And I have a 6-year-old that will not let that happen. But I woke up at like noon or close to it, and I was like,
I remember
I was tired.
I remember when John and I lived together. It seemed like on Saturdays and Sundays, it was it's kind of like a battle to see who could wait to come out of their room the longest. John usually would surface about 12:30, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
As from what I remember, at least. But yeah, it was an interesting week for sure. I don't know what Penny's doing. She's probably doing something.
Yeah, she's our special third mic today, so we'll see what goes on.
I'm like looking for her because I can hear something being tuned, but I just don't know where she is. Oh, she's like right under me.
She's literally right. That's why you hear it so good.
Yeah, she's okay. I know. This is the first dog I've ever had. It like whenever I got her as a puppy, after about a month or so, I had to cut her nails, and she hated it. Right?
Yeah.
So now she preempts me. She chews her own nails. I've never seen this before. She chews them, and then like at first she was only chewing the front, and then one day I eventually had to do the back, and then she was like, "Oh heck no." And, then she started chewing those. So she, like, gets up, and about every 2 or 3 days, I'll hear her just gnawing away, and that's
what she's doing?
Yeah. She's like, oh, yeah.
That is I wonder if there are any other dogs in history that eat their own nails like that.
She is,
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
I've had...
You come in one day, she's got, like, nail clippers.
I've seen a dog that was smart enough to know that the ice cream man was coming every day, and my dad hooked up a deal where the ice cream man would give her a scoop of ice cream every day, and she just knew.
That's
went
cool.
out there for him, and then I've seen one that got a thorn in its paw and walked right up to my dad and just went, "Take that out, please." And he took it out, and she's like, "Thanks." And walked off.
That's what's up.
Okay.
Old Doc
I've never seen one do this kind of stuff. Next up on Weekly Puppy Chat.
Weekly Dog Chat. Yeah. Your host, Chris.
Chris. All right. I guess, man, when
John, you got anything? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
He's not here.
I guess we could just go straight to the topic.
He'd talk about, we can do that, but he'd talk about how bad he felt all weekend.
Yeah, he would. He'd be like,
I didn't feel good.
Not going to get subs at that place again.
I still don't think it's that place, and I don't know when did he go without me?
He said he went. That was the last thing he had ate. And then, like, afterwards, I kind of reminded him, like, well, remember,
could he just have the
when
flu?
you get, I was like, remember, if it's food poisoning, it could be from anything you've ate. Sometimes it takes time for it to hit you.
I don't know. I always thought food poisoning was pretty much within the first, 6 to 12 hours. You know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember I was at the wedding because he was watching Penny for me.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, you come get her tomorrow, and, regardless when you get back tonight, because we're going to go out to Pope's Haunted Hay Farm. And then all of a sudden, I looked at my phone about 5, and he was like, I will be at the house. And
well,
I'm guessing that must have been when it set in.
Well, I'm trying to wonder what he ate, because we went to Jersey Mike's with him.
I didn't.
Where were you? Oh, you were doing your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a long time ago.
No, I think he went Saturday, though.
Oh, so yeah. I wasn't with him. That would have been with his wife.
His wife.
Well, that was great. Let's go ahead and do this, man. I'm excited to talk to you about the adventure that was as being the new kid.
Again, still the new kid, yeah. Let's pivot.
Topic time.
The topic is South Park, the fractured butthole. But that's spelled in a way that it's all appropriate.
Yeah, it works.
And it actually makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, they were kids and they were playing a game and they were playing together, but now it's been fractured. But they still come together as a whole.
Yeah, they do. In front of police stations and other places.
A lot of places. Yeah, so South Park, The Fractured Butthole is the follow-up to the 2014 fantasy RPG game, South Park, The Stick of Truth. Kind of picks up the next day afterwards, for those who...
were wondering.
Who
was it? If you were wondering.
Yeah, so in the first game you played as the new kid in town, as there was kind of like a fantasy RPG thing going on, like Cartman was a wizard and Kyle was a high elf.
Yes.
Kenny was Princess Kenny, of course.
Well, the fact that they don't try to make you be another character and that they incorporate you as the new kid.
Yeah,
it leaves out this freedom to just do whatever they want to.
It also made sense because it allowed them to kind of continue what they're doing. Because at the end of the game, they kind of reveal your character has certain, I guess, a power, if you will. They go into detail. Not that kind of power, a different kind.
Not the one from this game, huh?
No, it's still, it's kind of in the same vein, but it builds off that and the events from it. But basically, as you start out the game, you're actually still playing
the old
with
one?
them, and all of a sudden, there's a war going on between the elves and the humans and all that. Everyone's like, where the heck is Cartman and all that? And all of a sudden, Cartman appears in his Coon attire, And he's like, we have to go back. We have to put it right. And basically what you learn very quickly was that prior to you coming to town and the kids playing the fantasy game, the kids before that were playing a superhero game. And the whole entire idea was that as they were playing the superheroes, they were this group called Coon and Friends. And eventually they settled on the idea to build that they needed to be like kind of course, Penny's going to just go ahead and grab the one thing. Come here, baby.
Come here. You cannot play with Spiky Ball Guy.
Yeah, grab that.
Yeah, I can get it.
Yeah. So basically, like they were, they came up with the idea of like, look, we need to be like Marvel. We need to be like DC. We need to just toss in my bedroom and close that door.
Yeah, turn off the lights.
They came up with the idea they need to be like Marvel is basically. So they slowly started to craft a 3-phase plan to take over everything, starting off with like a Netflix series and everything. But kind of like how kids do, eventually you start to look at the order and who's getting priority. And not everyone could have a film or something like that. Or some people were only getting a Netflix. Some people weren't coming until phase 2 or 3 into the story. So, of course, kids being kids in their egos, they eventually go to a point where they're like, nah, screw this. And they go Civil War. And half of them remain with Coon and Friends, which are, I think Coon and Friends are Kyle, Cartman, Craig, Clyde, and is there another one there that I'm forgetting? I think that, and Scott Malcolmus, who's Captain Diabetes, because he has super strength to the powers of diabetes. It's the greatest little thing ever. And then on the other side is the Freedom Pals, which is Stan, Kenny, Token.
New Kid.
No. New Kid starts off with Coon and Friends. That's you.
Oh.
Yeah, you start off with Coon and Friends. Basically, you live right next door to Cartman. So just like in the first game, you start off with Cartman's faction as opposed to then. And, they always kind of show you both sides and everything. Plus Cartman's a jerk, so eventually he's going to... True motives will be revealed.
He'll ruin things.
Who else was there? There's Tweak, who is Craig's ex-boyfriend in the game. They break up over the Civil War. And each side is kind of and Timmy's like their leader of the Freedom Pals. He's kind of the Professor X.
I can't stop laughing.
Yeah, he's like Professor X, and like it's so funny because he's still Timmy.
Yeah,
and he's like and being all that, but every now and then he'll just stop and put his hands up to his head, and he, for the only time in the show's history, he speaks perfectly fine and is completely normal, and he's super intelligent and all that kind of stuff. But yes, the idea has started out, and the two factions are now fighting against each other as they decide to play superheroes again and trying to establish their universe first. So the idea is that there is a cat named Scrambles who has gone missing, and there's $100 reward. And obviously, if they can get this $100 reward, it will be enough to help them entice to get to Netflix and get their franchise off the ground.
It makes perfect sense. You just have to go back to the mindset of being a kid.
Yes.
And it makes perfect sense.
And it just from there, it kind of just goes. And I'll say this, before we're going further, this is not going to be a game for everyone. This is a game that, if you're not a fan of South Park, or in any form, you just do not care for that brand of humor,
do not buy this game.
Yeah, it is. Even though it's a solid game and it plays well, it actually runs amazingly well. I was surprised just how well.
The fighting system looked amazing. We'll get into all that, but all of it really works well. You're absolutely right.
It works really well, but it is not a game that has some sort of combat that is so engaging, or that the exploration is so amazing that if you're not a fan of the series, you're going to be able to overcome the fact that, this is very politically incorrect humor. They poke fun of everyone, and they do it consistently in this game.
But that is a theme that is common in anything that the guys from South Park do.
Correct. And what was nice with this, as a fan of the show, I think anyone would attest, I am a humongous South Park fan. I pretty much started watching with my parents, I think the second or third episode ever. It was the one with I cannot remember the name of the monster, but they were hunting. Jim and Ned were hunting a monster that built wicker baskets and had a leg made out of Patrick Duffy. And that was like the 3rd episode ever of the show. And I've been hooked ever since. I've seen every episode. John can test pretty much every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. If South Park is on, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. But yeah, like as someone who is a fan of the show, this game is for you. It's for the people who remember all these little nuances that they have built now over 21 years through dedication and like they are constantly calling out things that have happened in the last couple of seasons since the game came out, and they're also calling out stuff from the 1st and 2nd season. Like there is
that's really, really cool.
Yeah, like there is a point. Like I went down to the police station and I was looking on the wall, and there's a thing that says NAMBLA suspects at large. And I was like, oh my God, that's like from the 3rd season of the show, which was like NAMBLA is the North American Men Boy Lovers Association. And they were trying to solicit Cartman to join them. Yeah. There's stuff like that. For those who have watched recently, you'll note that like Mr. Garrison's not really anywhere in the game. And it's because on the show last year, he became their figurehead for Trump. So he is now Trump. Like whenever they do anything with Trump on that show, they show him. So he's nowhere to be seen. Whereas another thing they introduced last year, member berries, which are these berries that all they do is talk about things from the past that people love. They're like, oh, remember Chewbacca? Oh, I love Chewbacca. Yeah, let's remember Chewbacca. Like they're all out throughout the world.
Yeah.
Again, like the fact that Craig and Tweak are now boyfriends, like that's everywhere throughout the world, and that's got a huge thing to it. So all of that's come in. The more recent stuff where South Park has been updating its town, kind of like how, like you have the poor areas that everyone wants to renovate and make them nice, so they just put some ridiculous name to it, and then all of a sudden the property prices go up about tenfold.
Yeah.
And then all the poor people can't afford to live there, so everything fails.
Yeah,
like that's in this game. All that stuff, and they've built that up. So it's cool for someone like me who has really been around since day one to see this all here and be like, okay, they still got it. Like I was wondering, that was a huge charm of the first game. I was wondering if that was going to maybe wear off a little bit this time, but nope. Everything is still good. Just like down to the fact, we talked about a couple of weeks ago, there's a huge hubbub with Kanye West is in the game because they did an episode where they said basically he's a gay fish. And literally in the game, he is a gay fish that partners up with Seaman that everyone just calls Seaman.
I mean, I gotta add to what you just said. I'm not the guy who's watched every South Park, since season 1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot of South Park. I love the movies. I love the humor. I do love the show. Mm-hmm. And my excitement to get this game stemmed from the fact that I didn't get to play the first game. And when I found out that it was bundled with it.
Fun fact, you get it for download as soon as.
It's super awesome. And the only reason I did not buy it was because of my busy slate this week. Sure. I plan to pick this up, so I don't want you to go into too far of a spoiler land. But I know you guys, Penny. What are you doing?
Penny, I swear, like every Monday is like, now's the time for me to explore and just find things. I think that's a plastic knife.
Should we go get that?
Yeah, you probably should.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll be back.
But yeah, without going into too much detail further with the game. So basically, at the start, there's this war, but as you slowly go into the mystery of where Scrambles the cat has gone, you slowly start to unravel or walk into bigger mysteries going on throughout the town. And I have to give credit, like Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the main guys of the show, usually they don't get to go into this level of depth with the show now because each episode is literally made within 6 days. You know, like they're right now finishing up tomorrow night's episode.
They're like, what's our topic? What's going on this week? Let's do it. Let's hammer it out. Boom.
Pretty much, yeah. So 6 Days to Air is a documentary on it, by the way, if you ever want to see.
Good documentary.
Yeah, very good documentary.
Highly recommended.
But in this instance, like they've had years to perfect this out, and it's kind of like the way how a lot of their other stuff, when they have time to think it out and really map it, it works really well. There's a lot of threads.
Yeah.
Like, the idea is that the game takes place over about a week in South Park, and it sets itself up where you, at first, when you're seeing certain things, you don't really think much of it, but then you get later into the week and you're like, what the heck is going on here? And when you finally get those revelations towards the end of the game, they work out really well, especially to, again, someone who is a huge fan of the show. Like, there are some callbacks towards the end of this game that made me laugh out loud, just like how well it was done. And I was like, he would do that. This is what would happen right here. This makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So, you know, without spoiling, I think it starts off a little slow, but once it gets going, anyone who is a fan of South Park will like where the main story heads to. It's worth it. It takes I'd say about 15, 20 hours for most people probably to go through the game, which is about a season and a half of South Park. So you're getting a good bit of stuff to do here.
Let me ask you this. Going into this game, you remembered playing Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
Were the mechanics very similar? Did they give like a tutorial, kind of like learning curve for new people?
They, for the most part,
it seems pretty simple. Even the battling system seems pretty simple.
Yeah, the battling has been upgraded. So the first game was just like turn-based combat. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, I don't think I ever lost one battle. I
don't think they want you to.
No, I mean, like, the idea of it is that it is engaging, but really it provides them a way to give the jokes, which is really what makes it unique to South Park. So in this one, instead of just being turn-based again, it's still turn-based, but they've kind of taken it up to for those who have played like Final Fantasy Tactics, or, you know, of course, a couple of weeks ago we had Mario and Rabbids.
I wonder if it's like that.
It's a little bit like a tactical RPG, not like uber, top of the line or
not anything. At all. No.
But it is, you'll have about 4 or 5 squares going vertically and then an unspecified amount going across the field.
Yeah.
And based on that, you'll have different attacks. And
per character has an attack.
Yeah.
You kind of see on the floor, like you said, the squares are lined up to where I'm going to hit this guy and this guy when I do something, or I'm not. I'm getting blocked from this table or from this thing, so I need to kind of move.
You have attacks like where you could get behind an enemy and you could have positioned another person kind of in front of them, and you could knock them back into them, and they'll do additional hit on them, and those kind of combos. There are people that have area attacks, so, like, just as long as they're in a general area of the map, they can hit them, whereas other people have attacks that literally you need to be lined up right in front of them to execute them.
I love Mysterion's physical attack and his death attacks are really cool.
Yeah, that's the best part is, so as you're playing, you're always building up an ultimate meters, and every, you can, as you pick a class starting out of this game, but as you go on, eventually you get to the point where you can pick any class and kind of mesh them all together to make the skill set of abilities and moves that favors your play style. Like, I was pulling from, like, karate, a speedster, and...
That sounds about right.
In a Elementist class together for a little while. And I mean, I kind of just I used the things that I thought, like, for the character, for the skills I was building up underneath as far as his strength, like, that complemented those, and that's why I think I was largely effective. I think I only died once in the whole entire game, and that was on a boss fight that had a very unique thing. It wasn't like because someone out-strategized me. It was like the boss showed up, and I was like, oh, it's a boss I can't kill. I have to just run from. I am not in a good position for this right now, so I died.
The bosses are very interesting. Again, going back to the thing that they don't hold anything back.
No, they do
One
not.
of the bosses had me dying laughing.
Which one was it?
I don't want to say it because I don't know if it'll ruin it.
What?
It's the one it's the one I asked you if you had made it to.
Oh,
so now it's your discretion whether or not you're going to say it or not.
You're talking about with the sandwich place?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I've beat the game now, so yes. Yeah, he's pretty late in the game. And again, that's a callback. They did an episode on him.
Yes, I remember that one.
Way back. Yeah, way back.
But if you're close to him when it's his turn,
right? Stuff like that.
Oh no.
Yeah, so the idea is you're building up these ultimate attacks, and as you execute them, they're cool because they play into two things. They play into whatever the kid's superhero persona is, but a lot of times they also play into the character themselves in some way. So like Kenny, for instance, is Mysterion.
What?
Yeah. And Mysterion's power is that just like Kenny himself, which I thought when they revealed this on the show was just perfect, he dies and he keeps coming back to life every night. So all of his attack is he blows up a balloon and sets up an explosion, and then he comes back as a ghost put together by rats.
I was watching a stream, and I don't think they knew that he was going to die. I don't even know if they knew that he was Kenny. Mm-hmm. And when he dies, and like 50,000 rats come and eat him,
right?
and then he turns into Ghost, and they're like, I can use them. It was like a really cool, like I could see that they learned that they could use them. I don't know if they had played the first one or whatever, but
the first one he was just Princess Kenny.
He was not. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they didn't really do anything with the death part in that one,
which is crazy.
But like, there's that tweaking Craig. Like when you start out, they each have their own little thing, and actually I like Craig's because Craig's goes back to this thing like where he had the thing with guinea pigs. Like they did a whole entire episode where he's.
Do you mean when you come and you get a guinea pig and you?
No, well, wait, that's also in the game, but no. There's basically he puts down his guinea pig and then says, "Do it," and like the guinea pig blows up to gigantic proportions and then shoots a beam at him. But then later on, when him and Tweak kind of reunite, right? It goes into another episode of South Park. Like when they first revealed that they were a couple, they did this whole entire thing where people were making this Japanese art showing them in love. And that's how it quickly became a thing that was known that those two were an item.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't realize they were at the time.
Yeah.
So that's what they like. You see them when you activate their special, they grab hands and all of a sudden it just cuts to this anime art style and people talking in Korean. and then they apparently blow up everyone on the screen, and you have no idea what they're saying or doing or whatever. But it's hilarious. It's really well done.
Well, like you get to the part where you're fighting and you got the turn-based things, and it's not always the boss. Sometimes it's just regular mobs that you run across of whatever.
Correct.
But what I really enjoyed, and I can't wait to get my hands on, is figuring out different things. For instance. How to get up a set of stairs with a laser beam pointing at you with a machine gun hooked to it. Yeah,
so as you go on, there are some mild puzzles in the game, mainly centered around. So carrying over from the first game, your character has very powerful farts. In the first game, they could cause damage. In this one, they're so powerful because you go to Morgan Freeman's taco stand and eat different burritos that your farts become so powerful that they can bend time. So...
Which is really cool.
You can, like there are times you can pause time, you can fast forward time, you can rewind time.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's right. Your farts are so powerful.
Yeah. You can, there's one part eventually where you can pull part of you from the past and into the present to fight along with you.
That's so cool.
And then also there are parts where you, with your teammates, certain teammates, you have an assist that you can do to help you solve puzzles in the world. So like, for instance, as I said before, Scott Malcolm is Captain Diabetes. In the start of the game, he's using the way he gets his rage is he'll eat some sugar and it'll make him rage out. And then he puts insulin in him to bring himself back down. But eventually he runs out of insulin. You need to find a way to get him angry, and the way you get him angry is you jump on his face and start farting it, and eventually it makes him Hulk up, and he lifts something up. With Kyle is the human kite, so whenever you summon him, he jumps on your back and you do farcore, where you fart off the ground and slowly jump your way to and fro to higher
hilarious
areas. Stan... Throughout the world, there will be lava or other things, which is just red bricks that people put down, like red Legos. But because it's the game, they're like, oh, it's lava. In order to clear it, Stan, whose name is Toolshed, he takes a sand blower pipe and sticks it into your butt, and then you do your butt to blow out gas to clear the way. And probably the most horrifying one is Butters, who is returning as Professor Chaos. He's kind of a little bit of a villain in the game. He has minions, which are gerbils, right? So you take a rocket and you put up your butt And then he sticks the gerbil in your butt, and you suck in enough air to shoot the gerbil towards wires, which then the gerbil fries. Yeah. Well, yeah, like fries when it hits because it's wrapped in aluminum foil. And it's stuff like this that's like, oh my God, this is so crude and great. But
the visual, the first time Butters comes and you use that, it's laugh out loud funny.
Oh yeah, every single time he does it in the game, I laughed. Like the other ones were funny to me, but like that one was, it's so good. But yeah, it does a nice job of allowing you to kind of build up the kind of character you want, play the style you want. So if you want to be someone who has a lot more distance,
let me ask you this: as far as
do that,
your new guy attire, in this game, I've seen a lot of people with the Assassin's Creed wardrobe. Is there anything different?
No, there's a ton of stuff in there
that you can put on the B.
Oh yeah, you are consistently either finding outfits in the world to put on. There are vendors to buy outfits. There are crafting recipes to build outfits. I mean, like my guy was pretty much looking like Batman by the end of the game.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And you mentioned the crafting stuff for the people that like to dig around in areas.
Oh yeah,
there's tons of that stuff to find.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much vital to search everything and then use it to craft whatever you need. You'd be surprised. I do think, and I will say, I just played as myself, so I was white. So therefore, I think I ended up having a ton of money by the end of the game and a lot of supplies, which is, from what I've gathered, the opposite if you play as a person of color in the game.
And like I said, they tackle things head on.
Oh yeah, there's a like there's a lot of things that they're pulling in this one. Like there's commentary, of course, on race and cops and on. It kind of hits in a way of ridiculousness with that. But there's also like the one I found really interesting. Like they do a lot of stuff with the social justice warrior stuff that's come in, like whether it be from the way people offend people to also how like people now view gender and sexuality and all that, and like how specific it has gotten down to.
Yeah,
and it's funny because on one thing, it kind of like for people who are unfamiliar with those things, I think it actually is the first thing I've seen that does a little bit of a decent job of explaining what it means. Like I never really pay attention to this stuff that much, but I know it's very passionate to some other people out there.
Yeah.
So like it kind of actually teaches you those things while also poking fun at you and the whole entire idea.
Yeah.
And regardless, the best part is no matter what you pick, you could basically play as was the equivalent of a white heterosexual male. Regardless, whenever you identify these things in the game, you come out into a parking lot, and every single time rednecks pull up into a truck and they go, "Look at what we got here. We got us a white American," and they just go into redneck mode on you. Yeah. So it's stuff like that where I think they shine, like, where it's like, look, they will show stupidity no matter where it is. Like Randy has always been my favorite character on the show because he is the epitome of what I would call American idiocracy.
Yeah.
He's consistently blaming everyone else and never looking at himself. Like there's a part in the game he's like, someone keeps keying my car, and sure enough, you come by the first night and he's out there drunk just keying his car.
Own car. Yeah. Oh my god.
Stuff like that. But yeah, it's an awesome game. I enjoyed it. It'll take you about, like I said, 15, 20 hours.
I was gonna say, man, it's a lot of times, or there have been other times where you played games that were successors to a previous game.
Yeah,
and you don't always come through like you feel like I feel like you are right now. I mean, I know you enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you would have been very critical of it if there were some things that bothered it. Bothered the experience, but it just seems like it's just a fun game. It is.
Like I said, I don't think this is a game for everyone. It's a game for South Park fans, and I think the reason why it works is it takes a lot of the things that were maybe introduced or kind of had to be rushed in the first game just to finally get the product out, and it hammers them out. Like the first game was made by Obsidian, which is a very small company, independent company. This one was made by Ubisoft, I believe, San Francisco or San Diego, and then on top of that, of course, the whole entire Ubisoft empire. So it's like those things that might have been an issue for them. Not only do they have a larger base studio working on it, you have all this support that you can get from other areas. And this isn't a game like Far Cry or Assassin's Creed where the world is so ginormous that, you know, there can be issues because of that. It's concise and it's well done. And on top of that, for something that's an adaptation, you have something that is just a rarity, I think, in games and media in general, in that you have the actual co-creators of the show very much involved.
Yeah.
And you know, that helps. Like, we talked about Shadow of War, and like, hey, you know, there were some issues, at least in my part, and I could see definitely for those
with the
who
lore,
Tolkien,
right?
Yeah, like they're very fast and loose with it. Well, Matt Stone and Trey Parker are not going to be like that with this show. They've always been pretty protective of it, and as such, I think, you know, they want to make sure that if they're going to make a game and lend their time and voice talents to it, especially, that it lives up to their expectations.
And think about this. What's another series that a video game would come out, right? A video game comes out, and as you play it, you feel like you're watching an episode of that. Like, everything is South Park to the T, and that just goes to show how awesome the experience can be. I mean, I actually cannot wait to play it.
You should.
I waited on the first one like a dummy. I remember it came on PC first, or maybe you played it on PC.
I did, yeah.
And it was out on the system, but I think it was like on a system I didn't have anymore, and I was like, ugh.
It came out like right at the end of the last console generation, and it was after the new consoles had launched, but it did not come to the new consoles right away. And because, again, it was Obsidian who made it, it was just one of those things that would have been incredibly hard to probably go ahead and port everything over.
But I mean, the fact that you get that game along with this game, and it's going to be a really fun experience that you get 15 to 20 hours out of.
Yes.
I mean, I can't wait to play it. I'm recommending it without even playing it. I know that you seem to be.
It's one of those things, like, the humor is solid and builds to where it even hits more and more. Like, they save a lot of their bigger jokes towards the end of the game. And
they got to warm you up.
Yeah, they warm you up very nice. And it feels like when it's time for it to end, like, I didn't sit back and go like, oh, how's this not longer or something like that. I was like, this is...
That feels right.
Yeah, this feels right in terms of length.
That's what
fine
she
with
said.
the game.
What? Oh,
right?
What?
Yeah, huh? One last thing. There are summons in the game.
Yes, there are.
And they pull one out from way back in South Park where... they did an episode called The Super Best Friends, right? Where the idea was that all the figureheads of religion were actually kind of like they got together like a Justice League.
I remember this.
Yeah. They pulled from that. One of the summons is that Moses looks basically like the equivalent of Zordon from freaking Power Rangers. He's just like a big beam of light. And like you call in this summon and it goes, meanwhile at the Hall of Super Best Friends, and Moses appears and goes, let all debts be forgiven and all slaves freed. Whoa. And the green light comes out and goes across the earth to heal you. It's just like stuff like that. I that makes me laugh personally, you know, every single time, just even maybe more so now because it's a remembrance of my past. I'm like, I can't believe that came back on this.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah. But check it out if you are a South Park fan, and if you're not, well,
if you
got like 3 games coming out next week.
Yeah. I will say, though, if you've got some feedback on South Park, if you've played it, if you want to chime in and let us know, we'll tell you how to get in touch with us a little later.
For sure. We can talk about the Kanye part because that was just like, I know it got a bunch of controversy, but really it was just about them. The whole entire thing is more so just ripping on Kanye's ego more.
Yeah.
Because as you're helping his mom go to heaven.
Full disclosure, Chris and I love Kanye's music.
Oh, yeah. Love him.
But as far as the non-music side, we're like,
I saw him at a festival a couple of years ago where I watched him rant for 20 minutes. And I was like, on one part, I was like, this is the greatest thing. I'm so glad I got to see this. I was like, you just don't get to see a man lose it in front of you, in front of 90,000 people every night. So, you know, I get to see this. But on the other hand, I was like, this dude is freaking crazy. You know, so I like his music, but that's about as far as I go.
Yeah.
You know?
Everything else is just kind of, oof.
Yeah. But, news?
Yeah. Hey, I want to praise you. That was great. Good stuff.
Okay.
I don't do that often.
Okay. Dang.
What happened? Rotad.
Hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News!
John, say something about... Oh.
Rip, John.
This is going to hurt that he's not here to talk about
was that a pun? Was that a pun?
I know, right? I really wanted to talk to him about this week because it's really interesting, weird news.
It's me and Chris acknowledged today that this first bit of news could itself be an entire
it could have, an
episode.
I think if John had been here,
it very well
this
could have been a 3-hour episode.
It said me and you are going to be like, yep,
that happened. Cool.
Yeah,
all right.
Okay, so next up. EA shutters Visceral Games. EA has announced it will be closing Visceral Games and that the single-player Star Wars project being led by Amy Hennig will be refocused and developed by other EA studios. I believe the lead was going to be EA Vancouver. In a blog post, EA Executive Vice President Patrick Soderlund stated, and this is a long one, all right?
You got this, buddy.
Yeah. Whew. Quote, our industry is evolving faster and more dramatically than ever before. The games we want to play and spend time with, the experiences we want to have in those games, and the way we play, all of those things are continually changing. So is the way games are made. In this fast-moving space, we are always focused on creating experiences that our players want to play, and today that means we're making a significant change with one of our upcoming titles. Our Visceral Studio has been developing an action-adventure title set in the Star Wars universe. In its current form, it was shaping up to be a story-based linear adventure game. Throughout the development process, we have been testing the game concept with players, listening to the feedback about what and how they want to play, and closely tracking fundamental shifts in the marketplace. It has become clear that to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we need to pivot the design. We will maintain the stunning visuals, authenticity in the Star Wars universe, and the focus on bringing a Star Wars story to life. Importantly, we are shifting the game to be a broader experience that allows for more variety and player agency, leaning into the capabilities of our Frostbite engine and re-imaging central elements of the game to give players a Star Wars adventure of greater depth and breadth to explore. There was more to it, but basically he said, hey, we're doing this and we're closing this studio, which sucks because, that's the studio that does Dead Space, and John loves that. But he additionally announced that the development will be led by its EA Vancouver studio and that the game was being pushed out of the 2019 scheduled release date timeframe. He also stated that they are in discussions with Amy about her next move.
Which is... Look, we don't often... That's a lot of information.
It is.
And
it's a lot of, PR speak to, I think, basically say...
Yeah.
What is becoming a bigger truth out there, which is we can't make a game that's just 8 hours and that's it.
Yeah.
We need to make a game that can be profitable for a long time, aka... We would like to make a Star Wars game that is either open world or is something like Destiny to me. Because think about it, how many people would probably drop something like Destiny for a Destiny
Star Wars game? Star Wars?
Yeah. Was, in
a heartbeat.
Right? It is a very powerful thing. And I know they've got Anthem and that's its own thing too.
Yeah.
But if you have Anthem and Destiny...
Right.
That's a cash cow, right?
Yeah, dude.
I think what this probably also says is that Amy Hennig was, I'm sure they said, well, we're going to do this. And she must have just said, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Because that's why at the back end he says something about we'll figure out what we're going to do with Amy, basically.
Yeah, my guess is, if I had to take a guess, she'll probably end up leaving. They might be like, hey, well, what about these properties here? Do you think you could do something with it? But my guess is that, she came to do this, and if that's not working out for them, then that probably means that she will want to go somewhere where she can make a type of game that she wants to make.
I wonder where she'd go. Let the speculation begin, right?
If I was Phil Spencer, I'd give her a call.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, come over to Xbox. We need you.
Yeah. When you think and then you can have the battle of Sony and Kojima versus Spencer and Hennig. That'd be weird.
That'd be really funny.
But yeah, it sucks.
It just seems like every time we get maybe excited or maybe there is something Star Warsy in the works, something happens.
Well, this game has been in development for almost 4 or 5 years now.
And I'm talking about the Star Wars the Bounty Hunter game.
Yeah, before that.
Yeah.
They announced this game like right when they announced LucasArts was closing and EA had secured the rights to it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I understand, and it just sucks because, you think of like someone like John. I don't think John would want to play a Star Wars game that's like a Destiny because he's not a huge online gamer. Maybe he might take a shot with Star Wars, but he's the kind of guy that would gladly pay $60 to play this 8 to 10 hour game, and he would enjoy it for what it is.
I would do either or if it was a good overall experience.
Yeah,
but knowing that a game based like Destiny, you can enjoy your single player element.
Sure,
you can do whatever you want. If you choose to go to the multi-purpose, jeez, the multiplayer area, you can, and you're actually right. You got my brain moving a little bit on that. That would be really cool.
Yeah, I think so. It just it sucks here because it's more of like, look, I think what they're saying is we've done a lot of focus testing and gamers are not going to pay for that game, which says a lot to me.
Which leads him back to the how do you say it? The industry is evolving faster and more dramatically.
Yeah,
it's because of the feedback they're getting on the.
I don't think because if it was the game itself and the assets that were being built, they would have just canceled the game and said it wasn't coming along. Kind of like how Phil Spencer did with the Dragon game or whatever.
Yeah.
That they canceled. If it's not working, it's not working. But they didn't say anything about it not working. They just said our industry is changing and we need to change.
We're shifting to a different studio, and here we go.
Yeah, and it says a lot that you can't get something like a Star Wars property.
It's because
to do that kind of game, Star Wars can't make that kind of game now.
Part of me thinks it's because it's Star Wars, and because it has to be quote unquote just right.
Well, I think it says also like how much EA, a corporation of its size, like where that, yes, they want to be artistic and do things, and they would love to give someone like Amy Hennig the ability to just make the game she wants to make, and whatever the profits are. That sounds great on the surface, but something like EA, is a corporation first, and therefore they have to think about the bottom line. And I'm sure going to your investors and you say, we're going to put out this game for $60 and that's going to be it. And we've done focus testing, and a lot of gamers have said that puts them off, where they don't want to even spend money on it, $60, because it's only an 8 to 10 hour experience, and they think that's too much to pay in this day and age for that kind of game. And Amy doesn't want to make a game where she continually finds ways to entice people to come back because she doesn't care about multiplayer or whatever. Yeah, she just wants to tell a story.
But, dude, a game where you could go from planet to planet or galaxy to galaxy like they do in the movies and the books and all that stuff.
For sure. Yeah,
dude.
Definitely. As long as it's not a loading screen, I'm down. That's all I'm asking. I want to fly my freaking ship. Come on, Destiny.
Wow. But, 2019 was what we were looking for.
Yeah.
And now it's past that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I hope we're still around.
Their deal was for 10 years.
Yeah.
So basically by the time, they must be, if they're going on this, someone was saying like, they must be banking on the fact that they're going to be able to renew this license. Because God help them if they can't.
If it's one and done, you're screwed.
Which might be one of the reasons why they have an Anthem, so they know, like, hey, no matter what, we have our potential destiny if it ends up being good.
This is true.
Xbox One fall update has gone live.
Yeah, my brother was like, check this out.
Yeah, it is completely different. Xbox's fall update to its OS has gone live. The update, which originally became available to insiders in August, brings a slew of new options to users prior to launch of the Xbox One X. Players can now personalize their home screens, allowing you to choose what you see when you boot up your console, from specific friends to specific apps and games. Additionally, the dashboard features a new look and has been updated to focus on speed, customization, and expression. Yeah, it's very, very different now when you open it up. Like, no more of this having to hit the home button thing. It's like, no. Here is a very large, clear presentation to make you see what you want to see and highlight. So it's right there. I think.
Were you an insider?
I am, but I had not turned on my Xbox honestly since Cuphead, so I had not seen it.
Oh, so when Cuphead came out, you saw it for the first time?
No, actually, it didn't update for whatever reason. I think you have to manually. It might be that I was out of date or something on the insider stuff, but it updated the other day whenever I just turned on. I was like, oh, wow, this is different.
Yeah.
So
I haven't updated mine. I need to go do that.
It's really nice. Of course, I updated mine, then I promptly packed it away because it's getting ready to be traded in for the Xbox.
Did you
One
update
X.
it to clean it?
I updated it because I accidentally turned it on, if I'm being honest. And then I was like, I finally went over to it and I was like, oh, okay. That happened.
Well, cool. Yeah, because yours is going bye-bye.
Yeah, it is. It's about to get 60 billion teraflops put into it, and then I'll rule the galaxy. CD Projekt Red gives a brief update on Cyberpunk 2077. The studio, who has been silent since the release of the DLC for The Witcher 3 last year, provided a statement posted on Twitter for their upcoming title and the recent departures from the studio. Quote, every role-playing game we've ever developed seemed impossible to achieve at the moment we set out to create it. It took us 5 years to finish Witcher 1. We had to make our own engine to complete Witcher 2, and we had to entirely reinvent the way we made games to develop to deliver an open world for The Witcher 3. When we start down the road to create something, we know the destination and we're sure of one thing. Even if it feels impossible, it doesn't mean it is. This approach to making games is not for everyone. Cyberpunk 2077 is progressing as planned, but we are taking our time. In this case, silence is the cost of making a great game. There was a lot more, but I paraphrased this for the sake of us.
Even though it's PR speak, I think in this case, this is a good PR speak because it lets you know, hey, we're here, we're working on it, and this is all you're going to get for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, they were the same way when it came to Witcher 3. Like, Witcher 3 just randomly, I think it was during Xbox's press conference, I remember, I guess it was like 2012, just popped up, and everyone's like, oh, okay, it's time. And that's kind of how they are. They do their thing, and when they're ready to show the world, they'll show it. But, I guess it's just one of those things where everyone's like, well, it's been 2 years now since Witcher 3, and honestly, you announced this project like way back, like back when Witcher 3 was announced. I think it was at the same time they said they had this. It was just that was going to be their next game. So I'm sure, they're working on it, and we'll get it whenever it's ready.
I know you're excited, man, because you like this studio. So
yeah, I mean,
are you excited about this game?
I can't. Well, I don't. It's based off of like an anime or something.
Yeah.
I have never seen it, but I'll say this: I never read a Witcher book before I played that.
I was gonna say, right?
I mean, I have faith that no matter what it is, it will at least be something that is worth taking a gander at. Whether it ends up being a good game, time will tell.
CD Projekt Red just seems like one of those developers that they do it right.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Hopefully they will continue to deliver great games. Lego Dimensions reported ending early. This should have been updated because I have an update here after I read this.
You should do that.
Yeah.
We should deliver real, official news.
I will, no fake I read
news,
this
Chris.
This morning, and then apparently in the afternoon, situation changed. In a report published by Eurogamer, sources state that Warner Brothers has canceled the TTT Games developed series, Lego Dimensions. The sources provided reasons for the cancellation, such as the cost of using real Lego, flagging sales, and the Toys to Life genre falling out of fashion. The series had planned a third year that would have featured a Minecraft expansion. So we got that this morning, and then sure enough, later this afternoon, the Lego Dimensions
you never want to see this.
Twitter account tweeted out, Warner Brothers Interactive Entertainment, TT Games, and the Lego Group would like to thank fans for their ongoing support of the Lego Dimensions. After careful consideration, we will not be producing new expansion packs for the game beyond what is now available. We will continue to provide ongoing server and customer support for all Lego Dimensions packs. Existing packs will continue to work interchangeably and will remain available for purchase. So, rest in peace, Lego Dimensions.
RIP, for sure. I don't know what Legos, they cost a lot of money.
Yeah, the as far as the rights, for sure.
And it's my little brother for years has collected Legos, and even just to buy little figurine guys They're not part of like a Ninja Turtle or a Harry Potter set.
Yeah.
They just cost money.
They do.
And so I remember seeing the packs in the stores, and I was like, well, it seems fair. You're going to get you a little Lego kit, and then it'll be a Toys to Life thing. And to me, out of all of them, I thought Legos was really the coolest.
Yeah,
that was the closest Toys to Life you came.
Well, yeah, because I mean, the Disney one was interesting, but honestly, in the end, with Disney, you're kind of just tied to Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars, which are three humongous things. But
right,
like with Legos, it was interesting because you had The Simpsons, Doctor Who, Batman, anything you could dream of.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, Scooby-Doo was even out there. And those
Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
Well,
all of that was out there for you to use, and that's kind of cool that you could have this thing that literally is pulling in from so many different franchises.
Well, the Lego portal you actually built, and then your packs you would be able to put on it. Like the Disney one, it just was a little thing you set on the ground and lit up.
Yeah.
Now the Disney one I like because of Star Wars. That's my number one. And I was tempted to play the Lego thing, and I just, as a gamer, you hate to see these kind of things going away.
Well, I honestly gotta say, when Disney got out, that should have been the warning sign to everyone. Because
I was going to just say that.
I mean, their corporation, there
were trends and things they saw.
Yeah, especially, I mean, they are one of the corporations out there when it comes to entertainment, and I think, they saw the line of where this was going to go, and it's like eventually you're going to hit a wall.
But how was Skylanders going?
I think Skylanders
what I mean?
so ahead of a curve that they got that benefit of the rise up. But even then, is anyone really talking about Skylanders anymore?
I don't know.
In the same vein?
The last thing I've seen about new Skylander stuff, and I'm obviously not in the loop, but I remember when
you don't go to the Reddit forum?
Right. When they partnered up with Disney, not Disney, but with Nintendo, and they had the Bowser Special Edition thing.
Yeah.
And that could have been because my interest in Nintendo kind of bled over to the Skylander world. But you still see the packs. Like if you go to the Toys R Us's and the Walmarts of the world,
sure,
the Skylander stuff is still there while the Disney Infinity stuff got marked down and got out. And now I'm pretty sure that very soon you'll see the Lego stuff get marked down and sent out. So who knows, dude? But it's crazy to see something like this going away. But
it is what it is.
We don't play it, so what are we going to do?
Well, we're also not going to play the Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer expansion.
Oh, that was great! That was awesome, Chris! Woohoo!
Final Fantasy 15 delays multiplayer expansion, though not too long. Square Enix has announced that the multiplayer expansion scheduled to be released on Halloween will now be released sometime in early November. Square states the delay is, quote, due to final adjustments and to create the best possible experience.
So early November is what, between the 1st and like maybe the 10th?
Well, if it goes on Final Fantasy standards, it could be like another 12 years before it comes out.
Just for the
like
expansion.
November 2030.
Yeah, because they technically just say early November.
They're like, no, it's coming. And we're like, is it?
Is it?
Is it really coming? Microsoft announces first original Xbox games for backwards compatibility.
This is cool.
Yeah.
I like this.
So if you remember E3, they announced they're bringing original games back to Xbox, like OG Xbox. But Microsoft has revealed the first 13 original titles you can play on your Xbox One as of October 24th. That will be yesterday by the time you read this. Those games are Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, Ninja Gaiden Black, Crimson Skies, A High Road to Revenge, Fusion, Frenzy, Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time, Psychonauts, Dead to Rights, Black, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, Sid Meier's Pirates, Red Faction 2, Blood Rain 2, The King of Fighters, Neo Wave. If you still have your disc from your Xbox, which you are a dedicated man if you do, you simply need to insert it into your console. Otherwise, all titles will be available for purchase digitally at $9.99.
I think it's so cool that you can put in the OG Xbox disc,
right?
And it works. Jeff probably has some of these.
Yeah, he doesn't throw away anything.
He's just like
he hates us for another shed. That's what I'm going to do.
He hates that we trade our stuff in. I love I love the stuff that Microsoft does. Right.
I gotta
stuff
say,
like this. This is really cool.
For outside of the fact that the original Halo isn't on here, which is kind of perplexing at launch, but to be fair, they got other ways for you to play Halo now, so that might be why.
Master Chief Collection.
You can't go wrong. Like that is actually looking back now. That is a really solid like those are some of the best titles. Like, of course, Knights of the Old Republic is still my favorite Star Wars game. Fusion Frenzy was a really fun party game. Prince of Persia: The Sands of Times might be the best Prince of Persia game.
I agree. It was legit.
And then also things like Black, and I love Sid Meier's Pirates. So there's a lot there for fans of classic games, or just ones who maybe want to see stuff before, today, the stuff that inspired what we're getting now, basically.
Yeah. So Xbox people enjoy that.
For sure. Sony announces new publishing label for Switch and PC.
You heard that right, people.
Yep. Sony Music Entertainment has announced the publishing label Unities. Unties. I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Unities.
Unities.
I'm tired. With the intention of publishing games on the Switch and PC platforms in addition to Sony platforms. The first game will be Tiny Metal, which will release on 11/21/17. The publishing entity will operate independent from Sony Interactive Entertainment and will be designed to respond to the indie games movement centered around North America.
Is there anything that has been like this before?
Well,
to your knowledge,
kind of like this.
Like it's like they want to get a little, because I read an article the other day on how good Nintendo's indie approach is and how people are kind of flocking to go there to do their independent titles. And I'm wondering if Sony just wants to get a piece of that.
I think everyone is. I mean, they're trying to figure out the way to do it and do it right. And honestly, for something like the Switch, it makes a lot of sense because, like, that's a console obviously that's looking to really up its number of titles available to users versus, like, say, PlayStation and Xbox, where because it's been a couple of years and you have so many big games already out.
You almost got me. You said it's been a couple of years and I got ready. It's
been a while since, there you go. Since those consoles came out, and therefore it feels like, even on top of with the indie games, like Xbox and Sony don't know a way to market these big things that need to be marketed on their storefront, because I'm sure there's people paying them to market them on the storefront.
Right. And then have
also have the way for people to easily discover them. So it's like someone like Nintendo can come in and be like, well, hey, this thing that, even though it's been out a little bit, here it is, and we'll put it on the front page because we ain't got a game out this
we
week.
Don't care.
Yeah. Come buy it. Play it here.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Take it wherever you want. Switch sales. Domination continues, or dominance. I wrote dominance.
Yeah, you did. Switch sales dominance continues.
I can't blame John this week. It's all on me.
Yeah, you totally wrote this.
Yeah, I did, unfortunately. Nintendo's new console was the top hardware seller for September in the United States.
Do you remember?
Right? The console has been the top-selling console for 5 of the 7 months since its release. NPD has not yet provided software sales for the month due to a data quality issue.
What does that mean?
I guess, like, someone was saying, like, they might have had, like, some digital sales numbers that got corrupted or something like that, so they're having to go through and verify before they publish. I think they said they're hoping it'll be out by the end of this week.
That's good. I mean, that's all right.
Yeah, I was reading.
I'm surprised that it's only 5 of 7. I wonder if it didn't for the other 2 because you couldn't buy one.
I want to say, my bet is, if I had to guess, it's probably April and maybe May would be the 2 where, just because
it just wasn't
all
there.
That first wave come in March, so it won that month. And then afterwards, since then, you have June, July, August, and September. So that makes sense. Yeah, March, June, July, September, or August, September.
It does.
Booyah.
That makes perfect sense.
Right? But now we're going to find out, because I will be, of course, it should still win this month. It should still win October. But November, I'm interested to see, Microsoft's launching the Xbox One X, but I don't know if that's really going to carry over. But it's more of like, who is going to win Black Friday? Because usually they publish who wins Black Friday. I'm interested to see that.
Because everybody's going to have bundles.
Yeah, and I know you've noticed this. It has, the last couple of weeks, seems like you can walk now into a GameStop at least, and there will likely be a Switch or 2 on the shelf.
They were on the counters,
Yeah, like they're at least either market demand has caught up, or else Nintendo, in anticipation for the holiday, is pushing a ton out right now.
On their social media platforms, they're also pushing the new Mario bundle.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's the best bundle since you could get a Mario game back in the day. I mean, they're going back to try to capture that magic.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, think about it. If you don't have a Switch, if you waited, and then Mario game's coming out, it makes perfect sense to get it.
True. It'll just, like I said, it's going to be interesting because, like, we're going to get to Black Friday, and there's going to be like a Sony bundle with both Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy, a regular PS4 that will probably go for, I don't know, $225.
Yeah.
And you wonder, like, okay, well, what are you going to do? Are you going to buy that for your kid? Or are you going to spend $350 to get the Mario bundle
with a special controller or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Or you're going to spend $500 on the
Xbox One X.
Yeah, or I guess whatever they're discounting the PS4 Pro.
Yeah,
they might do that.
I think the Pro can be discounted, but the One X can't. I think it's too close. Yeah,
no.
But dude, think about this. Black Friday's like a month away now.
Yeah, it is.
It's just crazy.
It's happening. Literally 3 games come out Friday, Sean.
I know. We're only going to talk about one of them.
No, we're going to talk about 2 of them.
Just one.
We're just talking about the one that week. The next week we're talking about.
We're going to talk about it again the next week. John just don't know it yet.
What? Let me make sure before I say that. Yep. Finally this week. Latest Switch update.
Feels so weird about John here.
All right. Latest Switch update brings unexpected surprises.
It really did.
Nintendo released its 4.0.0 update for the Switch. The update adds the ability to transfer accounts and account data between systems, pre-purchase and preload certain games from the eShop, new user icons, and the ability to capture video during gameplay. By pressing the capture button, you can record up to 30 seconds of footage, which can then be uploaded to Facebook and Twitter. After its release, it was discovered that Nintendo had also added support for wireless headphones that use a USB dongle. For those looking to use wireless headphones in handheld mode, you will need a USB to USB-C adapter. Because, I don't know if you know this, if you dock your Switch, there is a USB in the docking station in the back, like 1 or 2 ports for you, so you can
put the dongle.
Yeah, but of course the Switch itself charges on a USB C connection.
Wonder, the PlayStation Gold headset?
Yes.
I wonder if it would work on the Switch.
I think, they said it does.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, anything that, as long as it has a dongle, you can use it. Does not work for.
I know this is off topic
for Bluetooth, and it doesn't work, of course, with optical fiber ones. But as long as it has a dongle, it will work. Of course, the thing is still, even though you can get the game headphone stuff there, as far as chat, yeah, you'll still have to do its own thing.
They gotta fix that.
Yeah, they really.
But
do.
the word dongle, I don't think I knew until I was like 28. And then all
hilarious.
of a sudden, it's the greatest word ever. Every time I hear it, I just get happy.
Old dongle. Dingle dongle. Right?
Dongle. Good friend of mine, and he's a friend of yours too, Heath, the trucker.
Heath.
He wanted to play DJ Hero after I had played it for a little while over. And he found a copy of it and either lost his dongle or it didn't come with a dongle.
Ooh, yeah, you gotta have that dongle.
You can't play the game without the dongle.
You gotta have the dongle. That's required. Totally required dongle.
Oh, good times.
We're going to wrap this up.
Never.
Oh.
I told you, Chris.
Challenge accepted.
Emails. Electronic mail.
Emails. Sorry, John. You're not here to say.
Yeah, John.
John would go, email.
Hey, emails, guys.
He doesn't care about what you all write in.
They really don't.
He just cares what he writes.
And as long as you write about him.
I mean, this is why he's not going to listen to the news this week, because he didn't write it. He's going to be like, don't care about that. He's already shut off and deleted this episode after the opening. Prove me wrong.
Prove us wrong, John.
If you want to write in your thoughts and opinions, and I have to say, I chastised you guys a couple of weeks ago for it when you didn't write in, and you guys have been clutch the last 2 weeks, so keep it up or I will chew you out again. You can write in your thoughts to weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com, just like Golden did. He says,
Golden?
Hey, Golden here. And I just finished up Destiny 2 and was sorely disappointed in the changes from year 3 of Destiny 1 and was looking for the next game to get hooked on. He put hooked in quotes.
Yeah.
Because he's,
Yeah.
I'm more of an online RPG shooter type, and I've only really played Assassin's Creed as close combat. But I have one question. Should I get Witcher 3? It's $20 games for gold this week. I think by the time he hears this, unfortunately, it will not be $20.
Hopefully he made that decision because Witcher 3 is certainly a just give it a go.
If you like RPGs, I mean, there's no shooting in it, but if you like fantasy, and if you liked Assassin's Creed, I would say...
But are there hooers in it, Chris?
Oh, yeah. There's definitely some of them. I think it's one of the best games that... I think it is the best game that's come out this generation and still is. And
I bought the game, and it's unopened.
Yeah,
still.
You should probably play that.
Got too much stuff coming out next few weeks.
If you like combat, if you like fantasy, if you like RPGs, you will be happy. If you're looking for maybe something a little bit more just combat-y and not having to worry about doing full-out RPG stuff, then maybe look into something like the Middle-earth series from Lord of the Rings. Or if you want something that's more shooter type, you could go look at the Far Cry games that are out or also coming soon. These are all possible options for you. I mean, even something, I guess, if you don't mind repetitiveness and you just want online shooting with friends, I know Ghost Recon Wildlands is insanely popular, so that might be something to also look into, especially if you've got 2 or 3 friends to shoot people with. But online, not in real life.
Yeah, not in real life.
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Ever
in real life. Please don't. We're going to delete all of this. Next up, Steven writes in.
What's up, Steve?
He says, Hey, Chris, Sean, and John. I'm sorry, Steven.
Yeah,
John's not
John
here.
would probably say something like, hey.
Yeah, thanks for bringing up
or hi.
Painful thoughts. The fact that John's not here,
I miss him so bad.
He's my boy. I just started listening a couple weeks ago, and I gotta thank you for the exact type of podcast I was looking for to listen to during work. I find myself on similar gaming timeline as you, Chris, having been a console gamer for most of my life, and within the past couple months wanting to play PUBG, building a PC that can handle it, and loving every minute of it. Congrats on the chicken dinner, by the way. Add me on Steam if you ever need another squad member. I will not announce his title here, but it is actually... pretty funny.
Is it pretty awesome?
Yeah, I'll tell you afterwards.
All right.
Anyways, keep up the good work and with this thing and game on.
Yeah, that's what's up. Game on. Thank you so much for those kind words.
For sure. Sean and I hadn't gotten to play in a little bit, but we got to play today, and it was not a...
We did not successfully get a chicken dinner.
We did get to 9.
The duos, yeah. So there was 8 other teams, right?
Yeah, we were hiding in a house, and we were good in this house for most of the game. In this little bathroom, and all of a sudden, finally, the circle was closing in around us, so waves and waves of people just kept kind of coming across us.
Oh boy! If they'd come in that bathroom,
we were
but they were going to die, but they didn't. And then we finally had to leave, and we see a guy in a field. Did you see him before I started shooting?
No, you started shooting, and then I had to pull out my gun because I had put it away to run. I was like, oh dang, yeah, there he
was right there.
Yeah, so
and I didn't see a guy, his teammate to the right, who blasted my dome piece off.
I'll be honest, I never saw the guy to the right. I just started shooting at him and it said, "Hey, Chris, you got killed," and then it said you died.
Yeah,
I was like, well,
that was as close as we've gotten since the chicken dinner.
But yeah.
But we also have another friend who apparently is building a computer. Possibly.
We're starting a trend.
Yeah.
This game was doing okay, but now that me and you are on board,
it's taking over the world even more.
It'll probably.
Did you see it went from 1 million concurrent to 2 million because of us?
Exactly. It'll probably look 3 years from now. We're going to look back and we're going to be like, just like GTA 5, PUBG sold 80 million copies.
It's on every week of the top,
and it was all because of Chris and Sean
and their chicken dinner.
There you go. Next up. Josh from Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Oklahoma.
I think that's the name of like a newspaper over there.
Land of Boomer Sooner.
Yeah, it is. That is
that's
not cowboy country.
No, that is street address Boomer Sooner right there. Hey, dudes.
What's up, man?
Hey, dudes. Huh. Hey, dudes. Hey, dudes. That's a weird thing. Whenever I think of it, it makes me... What was that Nickelodeon show? Hey, Dude?
I don't know.
Never watched Hey Dude?
I didn't watch Nickelodeon.
Get that out of my house. One of my friends listens to your podcast and got me into it this past week. Boomer Sooner. So there we go. Confirmation. Roll Tide to you, buddy.
Yeah.
With Nintendo starting to be a bit more lenient with their characters, i.e. Mario and Rabbids, we were talking about the idea of a Nintendo MOBA. Take the Smash Bros. Cast or just core Nintendo characters and put them into a MOBA like Smite or even some new twist on the genre. What do you think?
That could work, man.
The key
that could work, man.
The key is this. I think it could work. I definitely like the idea right off the jump.
Yeah.
But if they're going to do this, they have to fix the online communication stuff because
it's a must.
You can't play a MOBA unless you
have that communication set up, headsets and all that good stuff, and it's just too quirky right now.
But like just the idea of it, like where if you could actually have someone host a party and like where you could do, I don't know, just something like 3-on-3, right? And me, Sean, and John are on one side of the room with our Switches, and then 3 of our friends are on the other side of the room.
Or it's just listeners that we're doing work on.
Of course, yeah. And, that, like, you could pick people from the Zelda series, from, from the Mario series, from Metroid, and just all the Fire Emblem,
Donkey
Animal
Kong.
Crossing, Donkey. I mean, the list is endless. Kirby, all those kinds of things. It works into what the idea of what a MOBA is, which is that, it's that formula of Smash Bros. Of just a plethora of people from different games thrown in, and then you kind of see what people can do with their unique skill sets.
Indeed. I actually have never thought about that concept, but now that he said it, that's pretty good.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It definitely makes sense.
It really does.
Now, if they could just bring it to PC, I'd be really happy. But that's pretty cool.
Thanks for the email. Thanks for starting to listen to us and everything. We hope you continue to enjoy us.
And we will always let you join our team as an Alabama fan if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, if
not have letdown and struggle against Kansas
it's
State.
A new coach, man.
Yeah, he is young. He is
and
the
they came back and won. They do have Baker Mayfield.
He's leaving this year, though.
Yeah, he's a senior, but he's good.
I guess he'll be playing for the old San Francisco 49ers next year.
I don't like them anymore, so.
Oh, okay. Maybe you can play for the Washington Redskins.
Don't like them either.
But
I don't care that you like
Kirky
them.
Kirky Cousins. Next up, Scott says, "Hey, guys.
Hey, buddy.
Thanks for responding to my email. All the games you suggested sound like they were worth a look, so I'll be investigating them in turn as soon as I can, starting with, I think, Hellblade. As an aside, I need to apologize to Chris for including the word recalibrate. Man, you put it in there again. I still can't say it, Scott. In my last missive. That was insensitive of me, and I should be more thoughtful in the future. Just taking the piss out of you, mate. Nothing but love. I
feel the love.
I fail at English.
Yeah.
I sure as heck can tell you an intelligent thought, but I sure as hell can't use big words to say it unless I really know that word.
You got to type, delete, type, sit, review it, type, delete.
I live off of word spell check.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. On a college football note, I'm a proud alum of the University of Texas. Him and Josh going to do battle here.
Red River rivalry right here on emails.
Right? So these are dark days for me. Yeah, they've been dark for a while.
But your Texas boys, man, they're hanging in every game.
Yeah.
They are, dude. Yeah. They lost by like 3 or 7 this past weekend.
That's true.
And that's how they don't get blown out. The Mary Maryland game was an anomaly.
Yeah. That was like the high of Maryland because then everyone got hurt. But it did my heart good to see your beloved Tide roll over A&M a couple of weeks ago.
Thank you.
We're glad
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We hate A&M too.
Yeah, with passion. Johnny Manziel.
He did it. For all you folks listening in College Station.
We were like, that's a good addition to the SEC when they first came in. And then Johnny Manziel showed them.
We just didn't like Johnny.
Like, we used to hate Kenny Hill, but now he's okay. He's over at TCU.
He's cool.
I don't care.
He's cool, man.
You can go be Thrill Hill.
They're pretty good, too, by the way.
Yeah, he's killing it.
A lot of good football in Texas.
So much football talk this week.
I like it. Let's do it.
My brother, who's never set foot on a college campus in his life but remains inexplicably an Aggie, was all moral victory after the loss, he told me. He said, quote, "Hey, Alabama ain't all that. They only beat us by less than 2 touchdowns." My relatively Richard-esque response was, "Talk to me when Alabama blows a 30-point lead to UCLA in the third quarter." Ooh. Game on, lads. Scott.
Game on, Scott. I like Scott.
Scott, if you ever type that word again, which I still can't say, I won't do anything about it, but I'll make threats about things.
Oh, that word.
Yeah, that word that I can't say because it's like
yeah.
It looks like reciprocate, but I don't know if it is.
You didn't even say that right.
No, I didn't.
Looks like reciprocate. All right, let's do it.
The title, this last email is from Alex. The title of the email is Richards. Hey, guys.
Hey, Alex.
Alex from Nova Scotia here. Heard your interest in the American Vandal. Me and my wife just finished the series.
His wife!
And I broke the news that it wasn't a real documentary. I now have a devastated wife with... a devastated wife, okay. Any tips on how to make her smile again? Well. See, Richard...
Put that Richard to work, buddy.
Yeah. Old Dick Nixon. Hey-o. Sean, you had some Twitter mentions here at Weekly Games Chat, Twitter.com.
I do want to, because John likes the love.
Doesn't he?
A lot of people last week, and by a lot I mean one person, really liked John's apparently things that he said, such as, "I'm going to cut your head off and bleep on your corpse."
Accurate.
We brought this up to John at lunch, and you should have seen his face. He was like, I said that. He was happy. He was concerned.
I don't think he really comprehends a lot of the things he says and like how people could perceive them without context.
Right.
Until someone like repeats them back to you. Like if like he ever were to be a witness on the stand and I was the lawyer and I'd be like, "Mr. Barron, it says here that you blank, blank, blank." He'd be like, "Did I?
I did?" And
then I would just watch his head fall into his hands.
We had a Josh LeBeau give us a follow. Thank you so much, Josh.
Yeah, Josh.
Slim Timmy 13.
Slim Timmy.
Congratulate us on our chicken dinner. Woo-hoo. He said to add him so we can do some squad games. We're always down for that.
For sure.
Let's see. We had another follow. Oh, Carl Hayes told us that he ended up getting 2 more GameCube controllers and fixed his current one and got a Game Boy player. Thing is awesome.
Awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
Woo-hoo.
And we had one person follow us, I believe, today. Let me make sure I'm saying the name right. Sad Panda Face follows us.
Is that Tate?
I don't know. But they followed us, and then they liked a tweet that said we attempt to win that chicken dinner in PUBG. So that would have been from when you posted our episode out there to Twitter, I believe. So again, thanks for the love and talking to us. I do my best to talk back to you guys and like your stuff. We got some really cool. We got some really cool people that listen to us. So thank y'all again. That's it.
Okay.
That's it, buddy. I'm ready to go eat.
Me too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weekly Games Chat, episode 126. If you like the show, subscribe on whatever podcast service you use. If they've got a review or rating system, drop us a review or a rating. Helps other people find the show.
It really does.
It really does.
Chris showed me in real time how that works, and it really does.
Like, people were like, "Hey, I can find you now. I was lost, but now I can see." Or blind. Whatever your interpretation is. John, wherever you are, may your butt be pured. And until next time, I will simply say game on, Sean.
Game on, Chris.
Game on, John, wherever you are.
Game on, John, indeed.
Game on, Cash. That's my John voice when he's not here. It's so not accurate. Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody.
Dog life. Dog life.